If you are a Black woman, live your best life. Do not allow someone else outside of you to rewrite your narratives. Don't allow the generational trauma to make you think that that's all you can be. Do not allow someone else's idea of what it means to be a Black woman dictate your reality. Make yourself happy. No more being a mammy. No more being superwoman. No more trying to fix it all and be it all. Take the cape off. Let go of that heavy, heavy burden. And do not allow anyone to take away your womanhood, to take away your softness. Whatever it is that you want to be, go do it. Whatever will make you happy, go do it. Go be free.
We have Black women dealing with trauma and suffering, obviously drowning, and then we have society, which can represent the friends, family, relationship, or even job, pretending that they're going to come and save us. But instead we get a, "You're so strong, you can do it," and end up drowning. Good sis drowned from all the weight that no one decided to come in and help her with. No more strong woman syndrome, no more superwoman syndrome. Time to burn the cape down.
I love the way it feels to be a hater. Something so sweet about thinking.
Hello, and welcome to Black Woman Bare Minimum, a safe space where you can do the least and be the most. Here's my effort for today.
She was so nasty and so rude that I don't ever bring anybody around me like that.
So nasty.
And that's what happened.
So rude. So nasty and so rude.
Black women are more supportive than white women. They will stand by you through a lot of shit.
They're just more supportive.
This is not a compliment. I want to talk about what it cost Black women to endure all the stress and to be very supportive of everybody in general. So what does it cost Black women to be very supportive of everybody? Weathering was coined by Dr. Arlene, used to describe how enduring racism, discrimination, and stress leads to premature aging and poor health outcomes for Black women. And the point here is that enduring stress, enduring racism, and enduring discrimination actually ages Black women more than their biological age. We have seen the constant stress that Black women are under. Even on social media, there is not a day that goes by that somebody doesn't have something to say about Black women. Black women this, Black women that. And from the research of Weathering, it shows that these things, living constantly under these kind of stress, actually ages us than our biological age. So what I'm going to need Black women to do is that it's about time that we focus on ourselves. It's about time that we put our mental health first. It's about time we set boundaries. It's about time we focus on healing from the things that we don't even talk about. Healing from the things that we are very quiet about. It's about time you make that therapy appointment and you find out the things that make you happy. And you also cultivate a community of people that support you.
I will quite literally never self-identify as a strong Black woman. If you call yourself rich, somebody gonna ask for some money. If you call yourself intelligent, someone's gonna give you a pop quiz. If you call yourself athletic, someone's going to challenge you to a race. I don't want to be tested on my strength. Y'all got it. I don't want people to test to see how much I can go through to prove the validity of my claims. I'd rather you assume if you breathe on me too hard, I'ma break. Been strong before, it's overrated, and it does not come with nearly enough benefits. I sent his toughest soldiers for that shit, baby. I am bubble wrapped, okay? I got foam insulation. I can't do it.
If my Jewish mother saw me.
So these are some enlightened thoughts. Not everyone's gonna like them, but I have to share my open thoughts about this, that this goes back to my theory about their real fear, because the original poster turned off his comments when other men addressed them. they usually turn off their comments or delete the videos. So they gaslight black women, but when other races take notice, they don't want that smoke from other races of men, okay? Number two, black women, we really have to also reflect on, are we coddling men in our family that do this to dehumanize black women? Because if anyone, and I'm so serious, my kids, anyone, I don't have kids, but if I had a son and he's making videos like this, he ain't gonna be kikiing it up in my home. No, that's not gonna happen.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but black women ain't gonna save you. At least not this one. I'd much rather be getting a facial or decorating. And due to personal reasons, I've just decided I'm just gonna keep getting prettier.
Keeping it 100, I would gatekeep black culture, and I wish more black people would gatekeep black culture. It is open to too much disrespect. We give a little, and non-black people take a lot. We say that we're uncomfortable, non-black people attack us and say that we're assholes for feeling that way. We ask people not to say the N-word. You guys say, well, how is it fair if you say it and I don't say it? I'm just singing along to a song. Now, I know I cannot gatekeep music because it's out there in the world. I cannot tell somebody, don't listen to that song, because that's impossible. Would I like people to acknowledge that non-black people stay gentrifying and colonizing our culture? Yes. Do I want people to listen to black people when they say that some things make them uncomfortable and not attack them? Of course. I don't give a fuck what you listen to. I don't give a fuck if it's only rap music or it's only this, and that. But I'm letting y'all know that black people have experienced life and things just make them uncomfortable, and it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Some of y'all new here, and that's okay. I just want to make something extremely clear. I'm OFBW, only for black women. Only for black women.
Black women are more supportive than white women. They will stand by you through a lot of shit.
They're just more supportive.
This is exactly why I've made it my personal mission for everyone who believes this to get them the least amount of support in everything that they have ever asked of me.
You need to start being more selfish and stop being so nice. If you haven't noticed by now, people have no problem taking advantage of your kindness and lying straight to your face.
Just remember that you're the prize always. Say that one more time. Just remember that you are the prize.
So this is an unpopular take, but I find that like a lot of these black women conferences, spaces, whatever the case is, it's like supposed to be black women focused, but they have everyone who's non-black on a stage. You have a Hispanic woman, you have this person's 2%. It's just like how far do we take it? Like how are we measuring this? How inclusive can we be if no spaces are centering black women? If I go to a Hispanic conference or whatever, I expect all Hispanic women to be on the stage. I don't expect Asian, black, white. I don't want to center anyone because it's not about me. And it kind of reminds me of the natural hair movement when it was originally for 4C, but now it's moved on to 3B and every other loose hair person that has been accepted in society. But now when I go to these conferences that are supposed to be black women centered, it's literally about everyone else. I guess because I have white in me from slavery, then I guess I can be represented.
And this is one of the depressing things that you find out. The deeper and deeper you dig into civil rights and even abolitionist history. The civil rights movement wasn't for us. And by us, I'm talking about people who look like me. Black women. The civil rights movement was not about black liberation. It was about black male supremacy. The civil rights movement wasn't about equality for black people. It was about equality for black men with white men. You know, you go back and you read the real tea, not just the curated, sanitized account. And you realize very quickly that black men had ulterior motives during the civil rights movement. You find out little tidbits like a lot of the motivation for the civil rights movement were men who just wanted to be able to marry white women. You find out about all of the women in the movement who were doing the legwork, who were actually doing the work and getting zero credit. The patriarchy runs deep in black men. They identify with white men. They're not fighting for equality. They want to be able to have the same amount of power in society as white men. And this even goes back as far as the abolitionist movement. I mean, these dudes have never changed. Like Frederick Douglass leaving his black queen For white women. I mean, you can't write this shit. There are so many female unsung heroes of the abolitionist movement who did so much legwork and got zero credit. It's black women who fight for everybody.
Hey y'all, it's Dr. Ken. So did you know that being a strong, busy woman can cause you to have physical illnesses? I'm doing a 3-part series. It's on my page. I'll give you more details, but this is a summary. So how is it causing you to be physically ill? So ladies, when you are running around, you have kids and you're married, or you have kids and you're single, and you're just going throughout the day just trying to get everything done and taking care of your household and everything that goes along with it, you are sometimes chronically stressed. And so instead of having that fight or flight moment where your cortisol levels, which is your stress levels, go up and then go down, and when they go up, they cause an increase in adrenaline and all those things to help you beat that immediate stressor in front of you, you are chronically stressed, where your hormone stays like this. Now that's causing you to have high blood pressure, it's causing you to have headaches, stress, lack of sleep, depression, anxiety, weight gain, all of those things because you are extremely stressed. Want to know more? Go to my page and watch those videos.
This message is for my fellow Black sisters who are utilizing their digital platform and currency to build grassroots organizations for the 2024 election. I would highly advise, do not allow anyone who does not look like you at the decision table. I think I'm lying. #MeToo movement. It got hijacked by a white celebrity woman. And look what happened. They left Black women and women of color out in the dust.
Girl, that's the 1 and the MF and 2. Okay? I had to learn how to unclip my cape and tuck it in the back of the closet, like the very, very back in a bin somewhere locked up. I'm truly grateful, though, that this new generation and younger generation coming up behind us is seeing better examples of self-care and how to actually take care of yourself like a woman and not taking care of everybody else. Because as a 33-year-old woman who is still struggling with freeing myself of this mindset and mentality, it definitely is really challenging, but definitely very critical because our health and our lives depend on it at this point. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but as a Black woman, when you start to set boundaries around your self-care, it seems like people don't really like that too much because they're used to us saving the world.
Hey y'all, it's Dr. Sam. I'm sure y'all have heard or seen the video of Senator Booker addressing Judge Jackson. This video.
Today, you're my star. You are my harbinger of hope. This country is getting better and better and better. And when that final vote happens and you ascend onto the highest court in the land, I'm going to rejoice. And I'm going to tell you right now, the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, will be better because of you.
So my issue with the video is I'm glad that he acknowledged the plight that it took for her to get there, all of that great stuff, and acknowledged how this country has not treated people who have built it equitably and fairly. But my issue is with that last part. He likened Judge Jackson to Sojourner Truth. Was it Sojourner? Harriet Tubman, my bad. Harriet Tubman. And he said that she just kept going no matter what the country did to her. And then he said that Judge Jackson is his hope and she will make this country better. And I feel like that is the prime example of how people view Black women in this country. We don't have the chance to just simply exist. We have to be a savior, a fixer, the beacon of light, the beacon of hope. That's a lot of burden to put on one person. And she's already we're seeing is live. She's facing so many microaggressions. And who knows what's going to happen once she enters into that space. It's similar to when companies hire
diverse candidates or the first ever DEI director with no resources, no team, but expect them to do this great feat of work by themselves. And I know he's not literally saying that, but the mentality behind that is the same thing. Like, she's supposed to be the one to change things for the entire country. I feel like she should just exist, enjoy this moment, relish in this moment. It's a huge accomplishment. Like, Black women should just be able to exist.
And people are wondering what you are and questioning what you are. That literally means that you are existing as a biracial person. You are existing as somebody who's racially ambiguous. I am someone who's Black. Everywhere in the world, I'm read as Black. No one's confused about what race I am. So that's why I say that biracial people aren't Black. I'm not saying that y'all are terrible people. I'm just saying that it's not Black, and that's okay. It's okay, babes.
No, ma'am, we do not. No, we don't. We're not carrying any weight, and they don't make good on their deals, historically. They got problems in their voting bloc. And doom is equally as contagious as hope. We don't need that shit over here. No, ma'am. They need to worry about themselves and work on themselves. Get their shit together, and we gather ours. And if we meet on the intersection, then we meet up. But no, ma'am. And we ain't begging for shit. We don't need them. They need us. You need to understand that just like they do. Either they will or they fucking won't. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Okay guys, there's something that I really need to get off my chest, and it's a talking point that I've been seeing from Black women for a few years now. And this talking point reeks of racism and misogyny, and it's basically the whole thing of, you know, white people never saw us as women. We never had access to womanhood, whatever that means, because womanhood is defined differently depending on the culture that you exist in. But like, white people never saw us as feminine, they never saw us as women, so therefore we're not women. White people also said that Black people are monkeys, so it just makes me beg the question, are you a monkey? Like, seriously, are you a monkey? If white people tell you to jump, are you going to say how high? And it's so funny because the same Black women that say these things are the same ones that will claim that they are reshaping their identity outside of the white supremacist notions of who Black women are and what Black womanhood is. But you don't realize that when you regurgitate these very racist and misogynist talking points, you are literally centering those same notions in your quest to reshape your identity. It's very contradictory, and I hope you guys can see that. Like, how nonsensical it all sounds. These same talking points are what, you know, were used to masculinize Black women, or what were used to, you know, strip Black women off of their humanity. Why are you still pushing them? Womanhood, like I said before, is defined differently. It's all dependent on the culture that you exist in. There are so many examples of Black womanhood outside of the West. There are so many examples of Black femininity outside of the West. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel. I speak for like over 30 minutes about Black femininity, Black womanhood, and Black female sexuality in Southern and Eastern Africa. I go in depth. There are so many examples out there. Why are we still pushing this? Claiming that Black women are not women is not the take that you think it is. I'm sorry, but it really isn't. And that's all I really wanted to say. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm honestly just sick of it.
Why is it so different? Why am I getting so much smoke saying that it's for Black women?
So, you already know the answer to this question, but I want to put it into words for anyone that's in your comments insisting that they don't understand the problem. Or anyone that sees this video later and swears that, you know, they're part of the community even though they're not Black, because they are around Black people. They have relationships with Black people. Whatever. Black women don't exist to serve you. Black women don't exist to take care of you, to teach you, to raise you, to wrap you in warmth and love. I know that on this app in particular, there's a weird leaning into the idea that Black women can do everything and anything except be human, except be soft, or need care, or rest, or to relax, or to have a space where no one is asking them to work. right? Because the thing that killed me watching these episodes of this show was that it was very clear that every time you said retreat, what the people arguing with you heard was the idea that black women might do something that wasn't about them. And how dare black women exist in a way that didn't center these people who wanted them to work and pay for the privilege of taking care of them, of mending their issues with their mothers, of teaching them how to be better parents to their black children with a black man who apparently they weren't willing to ask to teach them a thing. You are not, just for the record, wrong to create a space for black women, but I think many people are confused by the idea that black women are people, that we are human beings who have needs just like everyone else. We are not mammy. We are not super strong. We are not always the metaverse hero of your fantasies that will save you from the consequences of your own votes. And you are not part of our community just because you know us, because you think that you want to be like us without having to give up any of the privileges associated with your skin color. If you don't care about our struggles, then you don't get to celebrate our successes. Welcome to Solidarity 101. In this class, you will be learning that sisterhood and solidarity is a two-way street, not just you show up to take from black women and then get mad when they say no to you.
You are a mixed person who cannot pass as white. You are a black woman.
Hey babe, so I had to stitch this video because this bothered me. This bothered me so bad. I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is very harmful. To say that a biracial person in America, and we know in this country most biracial people belong to a white woman, a black man, to say that a biracial person in this country, if they're more black presenting, they are automatically black people. More specifically, if a biracial woman presents more so as black, then she's a black woman automatically, because that's how society might see her. That is so dangerous to actual black women. Like, please stop. Black women, specifically dark-skinned black women, we need to be more protective of our image and be more careful of the message that we're conveying to the world, because we already have a severe lack of dark-skinned representation in the media and music. We really don't see us that often, and when we do see us, we're underrated. We're not blown up as quickly. We don't get celebrated as much. So we already have a lack of dark skin representation. Now we're saying that biracial women who are more black presented, i.e. a Lotto, a Sweetie, they are black women. No, y'all are mixed women. And the thing about mixed people, most mixed people, if you actually talk to them, they don't even want to identify as black. They want to identify as mixed, which is valid. It's black people that are forcing our blackness onto them. We're forcing them to take our identity, to take our place. What the fuck? When you say a biracial person who is more black presenting is a black person, you are saying that a white woman can create a black woman. Hell no. You're saying that a white woman can create a black woman. You're saying that white women have the Eve gene. You're saying white women are mothers of humanity. Like, are you like, come on now. Watch what you're saying. You saying a white lady can make you and a white lady can make me. All she needs is a little black dick. Hell no. The only thing a white woman and a black man can make is a biracial child. They will never make black kids. Kanye don't got black kids. Kanye has mixed kids. If Kanye wanted black kids, he would have married a black woman. He didn't want black kids. Come on now, watch what you're saying. And I like you, I like your video, so this isn't to come down on you personally. I just want black women, black people, but specifically dark-skinned women. I want us to have more pride in our identities and to be more careful and keep who we are close to us. Because we know what we deal with. We know how to walk life as black women. We don't get the option to pick and choose. We are black women. And we cannot give our identities to non-black and biracial women. They are not us. They will never be us. You need to stand firm in your blackness and say, you are mixed. We are black. No, watch what you're saying. No, black is black, mixed is mixed. Two black people make a black person. One black person, non-black person makes a mixed person, period.
So every now and then I get this question, why focus on black women? And for me, the answer is simple. I'm a black woman, so I understand some of the unique challenges we face. If you don't know me, my name is Carla Erskine. I'm a productivity strategist, and I help ambitious, goal-driven women create lives of balance so that they can avoid burnout. And oftentimes when I'm thinking about Black women, right, I think about this superwoman cape that we sometimes wear. The idea that we can take on all of the world's problems and solve them without help. And so what happens is this usually leads to burnout, frustration, overwhelm, and we can't reach the goals that we have for ourselves because we're so busy saving the world. We have on that superwoman cape. So one of the things I do is I come in and I educate and I equip and empower women with productivity strategies and tools so they can reclaim their time and embody balance. That way they have the space to pursue their vision-aligned goals. I love to talk to you more about it. Make sure you like and follow so that you can learn more about how you too can reclaim your time and embody balance. Talk to you soon.
Okay, but can we really normalize this? Like, stop protecting men that would not protect you, sis. I already know I'm gonna get girls in the comments like, oh, we need to help each other, we need to protect each other. Sorry, but Black women need to get out the mentality of supporting every Black person they see, man or woman. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for the progression of my people. However, not every single person in my community. Y'all want me to defend Tyrone, who just went on the internet talking about that dark-skinned Black woman was ugly, and I'm a dark-skinned Black woman or brown-skinned woman, whatever side of the country you're on, because I'm not about to have this debate with y'all. But y'all expect me to defend somebody that would not defend me? What are y'all smoking? These men barely defend their own mothers and their own sisters. And no, I'm not saying every single Black man. All I'm saying is, Black women, just be careful who you defend, because our defense is worth a lot.
You know how I can tell that there's spiritual warfare in the community? It is anytime you see people try to put up boundaries around something very sacred, there's upheaval. There is something about a woman, there's something about a demographic of women that's the most unprotected, the most sexually violated, perpetually abandoned, perpetually turned into single mothers. There's something about a demographic of women really working very hard to improve their circumstances, right? Because many things are out of their control. So while many of these women are trying to improve their circumstances, they're also choosing to put up boundaries to kind of either divest, distance, or keep themselves away from people that don't share the same values or unable to kind of show up in a way that says, I love you in action. Because at the end of the day, guys, whatever you want to call it, just understand that people put their money or invest their time consistently into things that they value. And for some reason, you don't really see that too much in the community outside of the woman. Okay? So there's something around, there's between the systematic issue, and as you guys know, with Black people, where obviously there's a lot of systematic conditioning, especially within our men. And also they are twice as impacted. But understand this, woman, Black women, you have to learn when to choose yourself. You have to learn when to break these karmic cycles. Breaking karma is legitimately not only in what you do, it is in what you choose to accept, what you are allowing. A lot of these men are saying you need to take accountability, but they don't realize that you taking accountability is you choosing to either divest or stay away from situations because you simply don't have any idea what you're doing wrong. Right? And mind you, let's say the entire community is fucked up, but it's a fact that while you're trying to make better decisions to kind of keep yourself in, from situations where in which you might not have better judgment, people are getting upset about that, right? Many men are saying things like taking accountability, and honestly, it's a little bit of a slap in the face because there's something around the people with the lowest responsibility and show signs of really not being of leadership qualities that are really telling women they need to be held accountable. And I'm trying to figure out, like, accountable for what? But let's say we do. just know that us divesting or us trying to distance ourselves from men that are obviously not doing well through obviously having these high standards, mind you, the standards are pretty much standard everywhere else, but there's something about Black women really having those boundaries that are creating a lot of upheaval, especially amongst the men, and the men feeling as though they're being deprived of something. But Black women, just know that there's a long history of us being exploited for what we have to offer while simultaneously never being protected or loved adequately.
Black women, burn the cape. Burn it. Be soft, be delicate. You don't gotta fix it. You are dainty and you don't gotta. A lot of people are like literally shook when they see Black women living happy, joyful lives. And it's like, babe, someone else who doesn't look like you has been writing narratives about Black women your entire life. So of course you don't think it's possible. Generational trauma, what you grew up seeing, all of that has shaped your reality. But now with the internet, anything is possible. Anything. Black women don't have to struggle anymore. We don't have to choose struggle love over some false sense of loyalty. We deserve peace. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to be carefree and pampered and unbothered. And anyone who has grown up seeing Black women struggle and perceives that as the norm, babe, it doesn't have to be your story anymore.
I'm going to share with y'all a phrase that I heard from a therapist that changed my life, and hopefully it changes yours too. This was my first ever therapy session. I was going through a major transition in my life, a big transition, and I was sad, I was upset, I was confused. I didn't really know, where my life was going to go from there. It was really dramatic. And so I reached out to a therapist, and in my first session, after I finished talking to her about just the place I was in, just mentally, emotionally, physically, how I felt, the things that I was going through, what I was experiencing, the first thing that she said to me was, you need to burn the cape. She told me to take off the cape and burn it. She said that you are stretching yourself so thin to try to please everybody else, to try to make sure everybody else's needs are met, and you are empty. You are neglecting yourself. And she said, how nice and kind and great of a person can you ever be when you aren't any of those things to yourself? So you don't get an award for constantly being all of the things to everybody else while neglecting you, because at the end of the day, when you're pouring from an empty cup, the only place to go from there is to burn out. Versus when you are pouring into people from a full cup, you are able to pour into them more authentically and pour into them a lot more, because you're not doing it with any resentment, because your cup is also full. And that just kind of changed my life. Those 3 words, burn the cape. So I'm offering it to you because I feel like as mothers and as women in general, we don't always know that we need to hear that until we hear it. We don't always know that we need permission to prioritize ourselves until somebody gives us the permission to do it. So I am giving you the permission to burn the cape.
This video is not me speaking directly to Hey Colonizer and the 3 women involved. This is me speaking directly to Black women's response to it. So let's rewind. In the last few months, Black girls have come onto this app and been vulnerable. One was using the app to cope with her breakup. Another one came forward saying, I'm 31, I'm single, it sucks. And the first response to vulnerability from other Black girls and Black women was to rip their claws out and be critical and be judgmental. Some of y'all were literally stitching the girl's video, like, boss up, get over it, don't be on the internet like this. Yet we see instances like this where this drama is unfolding. We say white women, their feelings are always taken seriously to the point where they're kind of infantilized. But maybe a part of that is because they take each other's feelings seriously. This is definitely a reflection of our society at large, how Black women are gaslit from the doctor's office to the workplace. And so I guess we've started gaslighting ourselves. But we need to stop. Being heartbroken or being sad is valid. And if your first instinct is to judge somebody who's going through something, literally seek help. Seriously, seek therapy. Second of all, the only people that I see on my For You page caping for a man in this instance, which is ultimately what it comes down to. Black girls. We graduated from that in our own community for the most part, but here we are. From what I've heard, all I've heard from the women in his community are hold him accountable. He's not representing our values. Period. I haven't heard anything else from the women in his community. I have a couple best friend men of color that are like my family, and if they were caught up in something, if they would allow me to, I would probably stick up for them as well. But a lot of y'all don't even know this person, aren't even acquaintances. It's all reflective of the social ills that we experience as Black women, yes. And that's why I wanted to make this TikTok, so that we can bring it into awareness and adjust. Have a nice day.
I remember when I tried to save everyone, answering phone calls, sending help or response.
Hi, ladies. Go back and listen to her. This is why I always say, take care of you first. Take care of your needs first. Put yourself at the top of your list and be very, very selective about the causes that you support. Because just like she said, there are people out there who are not even ready for what you have to give them. And you have expended all of your energy, all of your time in helping someone. Meanwhile, you're falling apart. Don't do it, ladies. Spend the time to take care of yourself. Prioritize your needs. Pick just a few causes and be very select. Love you, ladies.
Back in the day when something happened to Black men, Black women used to be out there and...
Hi, ladies. I totally agree with her. Ooh, let's move this back just a little bit. There's been a change, a shift, and I myself have shifted. Now, I'm not one to go out and march, but I will donate money. And I'm being very cautious and very careful about who and what I donate my money to, all right? And I think that's only fair. As Black women, we need to protect our assets, our energy, and our resources. We're not marching for everything and everybody. The fact that there has been a shift is a good thing. If you want our support, we expect you to support us too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you any different. There are some movements I know that are coming up that are pro-Black women. I'm fully in support of those. Again, I'm not one for marching, but I will donate. And that is where I'm going to be putting my resources. Think carefully, ladies. For so long, not only has the world ignored us, but we've ignored us too. And it's time for that to stop. We need to be more centered on us because, quite frankly, nobody else is. Love you, ladies.
6 signs indicating that you're probably an emotional masochist. 1. Seeking out approval from people that are mean to you. No way pleasing people who don't appreciate you will make you feel happy, and yet you still try. Then you have some sort of denial issue inside you. 2. Staying in a toxic relationship. A relationship isn't only about 2 individuals who are romantically involved. It can also happen in a friendship. People with emotional masochism will delay the decision to leave because they're deeply attached to the partner. 3. Get bored easily when your partner's not being mean, cold, or distant. You might try to get your partner to become reactive just the way you enjoy it. 4. You pick fights because you want the drama. You want the unexplainable feeling of being mad and sad at the same time. 5. You beat yourself up when you feel too happy or content. They want to feel the drama, to feel that they survive and kick. Whether you realize it or not, you're someone who chooses to endure torture and heartbreak. 6. You push people away that make you too happy.
Masochism. Why we love to suffer and why we are even addicted to pain. Pain, suffering and humiliation injects us with fight and flight biochemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. And those biochemicals gives us short shots of energy and short shots of feeling alive. What do we feel when we do not get those short shots of biochemicals? That we start feeling restless or even numb or irritated.
The masochist has been taught from an early age to hate herself and to consider herself unworthy of love and worthless as a person. Consequently, she is prone to self-destructive, punishing, and self-defeating behaviors. Though capable of pleasure and possessed of social skills, the masochist avoids or undermines pleasurable experiences. She does not admit to enjoying herself. She seeks suffering, pain, and hurt in relationships and situations. She rejects help and resents people who offer help. She actively renders futile attempts to assist or ameliorate or mitigate or even solve their problems and predicaments. Masochist conduct is equally aimed at avoiding intimacy and its benefits, companionship and support, as it is at punishing herself. And so masochists tend to choose people and circumstances that inevitably and predictably lead to failure, disillusionment, disappointment, and mistreatment. Conversely, they tend to avoid relationships, interactions, and circumstances and people that are likely to result in success or gratification. They reject, disdain, or even suspect people who consistently treat them well. Masochists find caring, loving people, loving persons, sexually unattractive.
Group NWA. Barnes seeks damages of over $10 million and claims that last January at a Los Angeles club, Dre assaulted her, grabbing her hair, slamming her face and body into a wall, and kicking her in the ribs. No comment from NWA's label, but when we interviewed NWA last March, the group was quite willing to comment on the Barnes incident.
That's what she get. I hope she get it again. She got beat down. The host of that show, did something and she know what she did and got beat down, and I hope it happened again. See you around, buddy boy.
Phyllis Pollock was throwing a party for Def Jam. So I'm sitting up here talking to D Bars, trying to get my little Mac on with her and stuff. We sitting there kicking it right up against the wall, just talking, and she blowing me off. And then Dre walked up. He looked over at D. He said, "That's some fucked up shit you done, bitch." And stole on her. Boom! And you know how your drunk can just come down? I'm looking and I'm saying, wait a minute, this is whooping this bitch ass. So I jumps in the fight, you know, to help D, and his bodyguard hits me in the side of my mouth here with his gun, knocked out 2 of my motherfucking teeth. So and then Dre had dragged her around the corner into like this bathroom stall and started kicking and stumping and punching her. And when nobody even helped us, man, and I think that's when Ed Lover was managing at that time, you know, the DJ now out here on the beat. His little bitch ass didn't do shit. None of them did nothing. They just sat up there and watched and shit.
Talk about what happened.
Basically, during the height of their feud, I interviewed the group. Cube was leaving the group, so that's what they were separated. And the segment was switched where Cube said something about the group, and it was edited into the show. Completely out of my hands. So I'm heading downstairs to go play pool, and somebody stops me to speak to me about whatever. And then Dre approached me out of nowhere. He picked me up, lifted me up off the ground.
By your hair?
By my hair. By my hair.
Okay.
Slammed me up against the brick wall. Several times. Boom, boom, boom. Supposedly, I didn't see, but he had a bodyguard with him, and he kept the crowd, you know, from helping by gunpoint. Threatened the crowd with gun. The person that was talking to me was the only person that was tried to intervene. He got pistol whipped, hit, lost 2 teeth. I grabbed the rail, I pull myself back up, and then I run into the women's restroom.
Okay.
He follows me into the women's restroom.
Okay. And then what happens? Go ahead, Dee. Tell your story.
He continued to assault me in the women's restroom.
Beating you up? Were you sexually assaulted?
I'm not comfortable talking about everything right now.
Your silence is speaking volumes. Damn it, man. Years have gone by. This has affected this woman's career because Dr. Dre's reach in this industry has prevented her from being employed. She tried out, she wanted to be in Set It Off.
Yeah.
She couldn't be in Set It Off because Latifah and all them. Not that Latifah hadn't had a problem with you.
It was
but it could be
Gary Gray, who was my cameraman on Pump It Up. He was also the director of Set It Off.
So you were banned, you weren't able to be in Set It Off. You weren't able to host a video show on a video channel. He paid no money, no jail time, just community service.
No, he had to pay a fine for the courts.
Do you know how much that fine was?
It was like $2,500. I went $2,400. I mean, I have, you know.
And so he goes on to be the icon that he is. You have to admit, Dr. Dre is going on, and you have no career.
And more than anything, my purpose of these videos that I make is to bring awareness, because I feel like sometimes I don't think people are stupid, but I think sometimes people wear rose-colored glasses. And my biggest issue is so many black women are okay with this kind of stuff, is okay with the kind of content that he make. But I want to question and ask you guys, how many white, Asian, any other races are using stereotypes of their race to lift themselves up, using it as comic relief? Huh? How many of them are making movies like Tyler Perry, basically downgrading their women constantly? Huh? You don't see that in other races. And that's why I say my people will never be free, because it's weird, yo. How can y'all sit up here and just be like, shut up, it's comic relief, it's funny. It may be funny, but you know what ain't funny? When we still have to go through the same oppression, when we still have to get stereotyped, when people go places and they want to buy something and they get stereotyped by somebody, by a cashier or something, because this rhetoric is continuing. Because the fact is, we cannot expect to change shit if we don't say shit. Stand for something or fall for anything. I'm not getting it. Like, I get that he can be funny. I'm not saying he's not funny. But if he only just made little content here and there, no, he doesn't. He always making those videos, and the shit is fucking weird, okay? Because other races don't have to fucking do that. And if you have to sit up here and make fun of a woman, it's weird. Just wear the wig. If you want to wear the wig, wear the fucking wig. But for you to sit up here and make fun of black women, and for all of these black women to be saying it's funny, it's just really weird to me. And it's giving much so you're in a sucker place. It's giving very much so I don't get it. Like, I can't wholeheartedly see where you're coming from, because just when I see all of the stuff that black women have to constantly go through, and it's like every time I get on social media, and this has been since like high school, it's always a new person who's gained clout and fame off of making a mockery out of black women. These are the same men who will not date a black woman. Look at all of these creators. None of them, I promise you, have black girlfriends. I bet you all their girlfriends are white. I bet you they do nothing for the black community. I bet you Black History Month, they ain't shout out one black woman that actually helped them. What are they doing? Shucking and jiving, because their content isn't made for us. They get millions of followers not because of black people, but because of another race who they are shucking and jiving, they are doing this for. They may not know that that's who they're doing it for, but at the end of the day, they are doing this.
Jamie Lee
The expectation for black women such as Angela Bassett not to show their disappointment at being snubbed once again is another example of dehumanization of black women. It's also an example of white supremacy culture where there can be no discomfort experienced by European Americans. Yeah. The aspect of feeling as though you need to be inauthentic and not show your hurt and pain. It's just another representation of how certain European Americans just fake it till they make it and just expect us to do the same, instead of just acknowledging the fact that we are human and we have feelings, and we're acknowledging that those aren't always going to be positive. See, when you're so used to being disingenuous, you expect everyone else to do the same, and we're not doing that anymore. Burn the cape, y'all.
Will and Jada Smith's production company thought this was okay. I am offended and disgusted.
Have you ever wondered why it seems like black women are erased from both feminist and anti-racist movements? So I actually wrote a paper in undergrad on the intersectional invisibility and erasure of black women in both anti-racist and feminist movements. So let's unpack that. So in this paper, I actually cited a really interesting study by Stuart M. Coles and Josh Pasek on the intersectional invisibility of black women. So their study on intersectional invisibility and how group prototypes led to the erasure of black women found that black women were perceived as more black and less women. They were closely linked to black men and less likely to be associated with women in general.
In the paper, Stuart Coles and Josh Pasek argue that the undifferentiation of black men from black women can be used to explain why racial justice movements intended to combat anti-black racism may have failed to address the unique racialized and gendered experience of black women. Their study highlights that people in general are aware of the racialized experience of black women, but that they fail to view that experience differently from black men. Black men and black women's identities are conflated in people's minds, and it is assumed that they experience racism in the exact same way. Through the process of undifferentiation, black women essentially become degendered, but undifferentiation only leads to their erasure in both racialized and gendered movements. I then proceeded to add a quote from Audre Lorde where she talks about this idea of sameness and difference. So Audre Lorde argues that when we deal with sameness only, we develop weapons that we use against each other when the difference becomes apparent, and we wipe each other out. Black men and black women can wipe each other out far more effectively than outsiders do. And then I add that we must let go of any traditions that neglect the divergent and gendered history of black women and trust that doing so will not take away from any shared racial histories. And I think this was quite evident when it came to the Say Her Name movement and the erasure of black women within Black Lives Matter. And in this essay, I spoke about the experiences of women like Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland. And in this essay, I argue that justice can't be realised for women like Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland until the racism and sexism that black women experience is prioritised within racialised and feminist discourses, at least the same degree that black men and white women's struggles are prioritised. Essentially, the erasure of black women from anti-racist movements is really problematic as it marginalises them further and adds to the violence which they experience. There's a lot more to this paper, but this is all for now, and in part 2 I'm going to talk about the erasure of black women from feminist movements.
Excuse me, can you record me real quick? Can you record me real quick?
Get somebody else to do it.
Oh, it's for audition.